This is a Cape buffalo, 2,000 pounds of muscle and horn, built to fear almost nothing. But look closer, in his ears, around his eyes, in every fold of skin his horns and hooves can never reach. Ticks, hundreds of them, each one swollen tight with his blood. He cannot reach them. He is too big, too stiff, too armored. Left alone, the smallest creatures on the savannah would slowly drain the largest. And then, out of the grass, comes the one animal that can. It flies in low and lands on his back. A bird barely the size of your hand, gripping the hide with sharp claws, bracing its stiff tail against him like a climber. And it goes to work. It runs its flat bill sideways across the skin, scissoring through the hair. It finds the first tick, clamps down, and pulls until the skin tense and the tick tears free. A quick toss of the head, and it's gone. Then the next, and the next. It climbs into the ear and cleans it out. It works the corners of the eyes, where the flies gather. It moves along the spine, down the flank, into the deep folds behind the legs, snipping and pulling, clearing the places the buffalo could never clean himself. The bull barely reacts. An ear flick, a slow blink. He simply stands there, in the flat morning light, and lets it happen. By the time the bird is done, dozens of ticks are gone. The buffalo is cleaner than he has been in days. Everyone calls this bird the cleaner, and you can see why. But watch it a little longer, because there is another side to what it's doing, one no one talks about. This is the red-billed oxpecker, and to understand it, you have to look closely at what it actually chooses to eat. It does eat ticks, hundreds in a single day, but it doesn't want just any tick. Watch it pass over the small, flat, empty ones, and go straight for the big ones, the ones already swollen dark with blood. The fuller the tick, the more the bird wants it, because the oxpecker isn't really after the pest. It's after what's inside it, blood. And once it has the taste, it doesn't always wait for a tick to do the work. An oxpecker will find an old wound on the buffalo's hide, a scratch from a thorn, a bite, a healing scab, and it will keep it open, pecking, widening it, feeding, drop by drop, directly from its giant. For years, people assumed these birds were pure medicine for the animals they ride. Then scientists actually counted. They compared buffalo that carried oxpeckers with buffalo that had none, and they found something no one expected. The birds barely dented the tick load at all. The buffalo with oxpeckers didn't have meaningfully fewer ticks than the ones without them. What they did have were wounds that stayed open longer and took more time to heal. The cleaner, it turns out, is also a parasite. It is feeding on the very thing it is supposed to be cleaning. So this is the real relationship, not a friendship, not a rescue. The oxpecker rides the buffalo because the buffalo is food and shelter and safety all in one. It eats his ticks, yes, but it also eats his dead skin, his earwax, the flies at his eyes, and his blood. It sleeps above him. It even lines its nest with hair pulled from his hide. It is not his friend, and it is not his enemy. It is something older and colder than both. Which leaves one question. If the bird opens his wounds and drinks his blood, why does a 2,000-pound buffalo, who fears almost nothing, allow it to stay? Because the oxpecker does one thing the buffalo cannot do for himself. It watches. A Cape buffalo has poor eyesight. From the ground, in tall grass, danger can come within yards before he ever sees it. But the bird sits high on his back, turning its head, scanning the whole plain, catching every shape that moves long before the bull's weak eyes can. And then, one afternoon, a lioness, downwind, low, 40 yards out, moving one silent paw at a time. The buffalo hasn't seen her. He hasn't smelled her. He has no idea she is there. But the bird has. The oxpecker flattens against his back and screams, a harsh, hissing alarm that means exactly one thing to every buffalo that hears it. Danger. The herd is up before the lioness has taken a second step. heads swing toward her. The ambush is broken before it began, and she melts back into the grass with nothing. The bird that drinks his blood has just saved his life. And as the light fades and the plain turns dangerous, that same small sentinel stays on his back, screaming down every shadow that moves. The wound it opened this morning is the price. The warning it gives at dusk is what that price buys. This is the thing the word partnership hides. In the wild, help and harm are rarely separate. The oxpecker cleans the buffalo and feeds on him. It guards his life and drinks his blood. A relationship where each takes what it needs, and both, somehow, come out ahead. The buffalo carries a small red-billed vampire on his back for his entire life, and in exchange, that vampire may be the reason he lives long enough to grow old. Nature doesn't deal in heroes, it deals in what works. This has been Paws and Claws. If you want more of the wild's uncomfortable truths, the partnerships that aren't quite what they seem, subscribe, and we'll show you the next one.